and good evening from Room 113, a comedy show conceived, written, produced, and performed in Arizona. Tonight's show, Donald Trump Digs Arizona, is underwritten by the Phoenix Gazette, the fastest-growing afternoon newspaper in the country.
Coming up next on KJazz, we have a little number from Miles Davis, Walter Davis, Chili Willie, Willie Nelson, and the Nelson Riddle Orchestra with Something Else on KJazz.
We interrupt programming to bring you this special news conference from the Phoenix Hilton.
We're here in the ballroom of the Phoenix Hilton. We're at the annual Phoenix 40 dinner, where New York City land developer Donald Trump and Phoenix developer J. Barney Fivington are set to announce one of the biggest ever proposed rezonings in the history of the state. Mr. Trump, who recently built a 54-story modern office building in Moscow's Red Square, has apparently decided to outdo himself and has selected Arizona. Whoa, wait a minute. I see Mr. Trump. He's coming to the microphone.
Hey,
let's see what he has to say.
Thank you. Some of you may know, that is if you've read my book, my goal in life is never to settle for second best. Now today I'm pleased to announce, in association with J. Barney Fivington, a truly superlative effort that will redefine redevelopment as modern-day America knows and, of course, loves it.
Mr. Trump! Mr. Trump!
Please hold those questions. No questions from the press until I'm finished. Now, currently, the city of Phoenix and Maricopa County are losing a gold mine in tourist dollars because the largest attraction in Arizona, the Grand Canyon, is located some distance from the metropolitan area in Coconino County, of course. Now, 3.5 million people visit the Grand Canyon. To remedy this situation, I and Mr. Fivington, as a minor partner, will be building the grandest canyon in the valley at 24th Street and Camelback Road, right next to Mr. Fivington's world-class Esplanade project. Although the grandest canyon will not be as wide as the current Grand Canyon, we will make up for it in depth.
Cecil Jeffrey's Weekly Gazette, Mr. Trump, how do you plan on digging out that much dirt?
Very easily. We'll be using small, tactical nuclear warheads. Now, it's already been proven we will basically be using the same technology that was once considered for building a new canal across Central America.
Mr. Trump, are you anticipating any fallout?
No, of course not. Why, a recent poll shows that most local politicians are behind this redevelopment project. Why, even your former governor, Bruce Babbitt, has endorsed the proposal. But just think of only having to drive 15 minutes to hike the canyon. You see, Mother Nature is a wonderful thing, but she needs a crash course in planning and zoning. We are even anticipating a few Circle Ks judiciously built into the walls of the canyon.
Cecil Jeffries again, what will you do with the dirt you dig out?
Good question. Now, to ensure the success of our project, we plan on trucking it to northern Arizona and dumping it into the Grand Canyon, turning it into what will be known as the Neat Canyon, but certainly not one worth driving 3.5 hours to see. Now, Mr. Fivington has a few words he would like to add. Jay Barney, come on up here.
Thank you, Don. In addition to building the grandest canyon, we also have contracted with NASA to use the space shuttle to divert the next meteor within a reasonable distance to force it to crash near Phoenix. Again, we are losing millions of dollars to northern Arizona and Meteor Crater. The great thing about being human, I think, is our ability to redefine our environment. I feel it is about time Arizonans did something proactive to make Phoenix a better city to live in. We're also negotiating with Michael Jackson to open a bone museum at the trailhead of the grandest canyon. As you may know, Mr. Jackson has acquired the bones of all the former American presidents and is currently negotiating with the surviving presidents for their bones when they died.
Next on K-Jazz, Mahalia Jackson, Jesse Jackson, Michael Jackson, Jackson Brown, and James Brown singing Don't It Make Your Brown Eyes Blue. But first this afternoon, let's check the traffic situation in the Valley of the Sun. Today, construction begins on Donald Trump's grandest canyon at the intersection of 24th Street and Camelback. There's quite a tie-up there. It will take the half-life of uranium to get through that light. We would suggest an alternate route.
Everything in place to detonate the first thermonuclear warhead?
Yes, sir, Mr. Trump. The site has been cleared and ready to commence the countdown.
Begin.
Yes, sir. 10, 9, 8, 7... Oh, that darn phone.
Answer that.
Just a minute, sir.
Hello?
What? Oh, my God. Mr. Trump, apparently Mr. Fifington has been sighted at ground zero. He's unconscious.
How much will it cost me to delay this explosion and reschedule?
At least $100,000, counting the off-duty policeman controlling traffic.
Continue the countdown.
But, sir, Mr. Fifington...
Hey, it's nothing personal. This is business. Why, if he'd read my book, I'm sure he would understand.
Yes, sir. 4, 3, 2, 1...
And then he began to grow, larger and larger still, until he became the only top executive who stood over 95 feet tall in his stocking feet.
Try not to be alarmed when you see him. He's rather large.
All right.
One more thing. When the check for the meal comes, don't fight him for it. At this point, there's not much he couldn't pick up.
Oh my God, he's gigantic! I don't believe it. Look at that! Oh,
Quiet, quiet! He might hear you. Jay, can you hear me? I'd like you to meet Dr. Detrick. He's here to help you, Jay.
But finally they could hold him prisoner no longer. The once mild-mannered millionaire went on a destruction rampage, leveling the very city he had helped to build.
Well, it's another beautiful Fiesta Bowl parade, and this year they've really outdone themselves on some of these floats.
You know, Deborah, since they added some of those giant balloons, the parade sure has taken on a whole new atmosphere.
It sure has, Bill. Take a look over there. It's a giant balloon roadrunner.
Isn't that cute? Hey, and look, following right behind, it's a Wile E. Coyote.
Oh, how clever can you get? Who's this next balloon?
Well, you know, I can't seem to find that one on my program.
It certainly looks lifelike.
Certainly does. You know, if I didn't know better, I'd swear that's supposed to be J. Barney Fifington the Billionth, mild-mannered millionaire developer.
Bill, that is J. Barney Fifington the Billionth.
Does he look a little angry to you?
Very.
Well, maybe if we were that tall, we'd be angry too.
Let's go down to the street and see if Dave Mincy can tell us more about it, huh? Dave?
Deb, it's pure pandemonium down here. J. Barney Fifington the Billionth has gone berserk. He's leveling the entire city. And oh my God, who's that? Why, it's Jerry Colangelo, owner of the Phoenix Suns. Mr. Colangelo, what brings you down here?
I just want to show him this contract.
Sorry, Mr. Colangelo, you have to stay behind a police line here.
If I had him on my team, we'd have a real team.
Please,
a
sir,
real
step back
team.
here.
Oh my God, what's that? He has something in his hand. It looks like a giant tortilla. No, it's not a tortilla. He's ripped the roof off the Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum. And oh no, he's ripped the Compass Room off the Hyatt Regency now. And he's taking a bite out of it as if it were a giant wheel of cheese. And now he's raking the Compass Room up and down the side of the Hyatt Regency. Giant cheese worms are squirting in through the windows. He's making the world's largest cheese crisp. I've never seen anything like this ever.
Adams brings it in for the Suns. He passes to Davis. Back to Adams. Adams feeds it to Fifington. Fifington drops to his knees and zingo the strings. Oh, brother! It's Heartbreak Hotel for these Los Angeles Lakers tonight. Swish-a-roo for two. And the madhouse on McDowell is exploding. Los Angeles will call a timeout now. Not too surprising.
You know, Al, ever since the Suns added this 100-foot tall center, it's really made a difference in their offense.
You better know it, Dick. J. Barney Fifington, the Jolly J Giant.
He seems to have gotten over his problem of exploding the balls between his thumb and forefinger, too.
That's a big plus for this kid.
Well, you know, he's not exactly a kid, Al.
Dick, if you stood 99 foot 7 inches tall, even you would still be playing.
Well, yeah.
A mile high over the Superstition Freeway at Scottsdale Road. Traffic is moving along like a herd of turtles. From up here, it looks like a paper cup or something blew off the back of a truck. The curiosity factor has got people curious as to why they didn't stay in bed. It's a real mess. Boy, am I glad I'm up here and not down there. Back to you, Dave.
Jeez. Here I am again, stuck on the Superstition Freeway. It's the same thing Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. Brake lights at Scottsdale Road. We're not going anywhere, and only God knows what's holding up traffic. I bet you it's something pretty inane, like a chain gang picking up garbage or something. Why do I do this? Why do we do this? Drive the Superstition? That's a joke. ADOT built this way. Of course, they didn't build it big enough. Drive the Superstition? You gotta dodge the Chevrolets and BMWs and trucks and everybody else. The cars are all lined up, baby. And nobody's getting anywhere. They're all going to the same place, that's why. You got 3 lanes that turn into a measly 2? Whose plan is that? The good drive's in your past, back at Gilbert Road. When you need to go to work. But everyone's a jerk, except me. And you idle, and idle, and idle. Superstition ain't the way. Well, I think I'll just put my car in park there and read a book. I got plenty of time. Look at that idiot over there talking to himself. They got places for people like him. You know, I think I'm in the wrong lane. This is like being in the supermarket. You're in the slow lane and you know it. I should get a job in Mesa or ride the bus. Will I ever see Mill Avenue again? The only entertainment's watching the Jackrabbits. Drive the Superstition? I wish there was another way. Drive the Superstition. The devil must have built this way, and it's hellish, let me tell you. Whoa, 13 miles an hour? We're really moving now. But it ain't gonna get me there on time. 7 hours in traffic just to get to work and back? The good drive's in my past, like back at Gilbert Road. When you need to go to work, everyone's a jerk, and you idle, and idle, and idle. Superstition ain't the way.
Excuse me, how do I get on the ho-ho cake?
Yeah. Look at those guys going the other way. They're so lucky. And why are all these snowbirds out at 7:30 a.m. sightseeing? I don't understand this.
Excuse me, young man, is that a barrel or a saguaro?
Look at that. There's a guy selling food on the side there. There's kids cleaning windshields. I don't believe this.
Sir, wash your windshield for a quarter.
I wish I had a car phone. I would call my boss and tell him I'm going to be late. Wait a minute. There's my boss right next to me.
Let me in or you're fired!
Jeez, I wish I worked in Tucson. I'd already be there. Why are we doing this to each other?
Hey, mister, wash your windshield for a quarter.
No, that's okay.
Give me a quarter or I'm going to break your windshield.
We're starting to move. No, it's just a false alarm.
Good evening, I'm David Large. Welcome to the 3 a.m. edition of Fascinating Interviews, and with me is Mr. Larry Scofflaw. Now, Mr. Scofflaw has written a fascinating book entitled How to Never Get Another Traffic Ticket. Welcome to the program, Larry.
Thanks, great to be here.
Now, briefly, what can you tell us about your book?
Well, just a minute. For my own life, I have made it a rule to purposely break all the laws and regulations that I can.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Scofflaw, but I should tell you that there is no smoking in the studio.
Why the heck do you think I lit up? I don't even smoke anyway.
You mean you started smoking just because the sign says no smoking?
That's right.
That must make for an interesting lifestyle.
Well, I'm in jail a lot.
And while there, of course, you wrote How to Never Get Another Traffic Ticket.
Here, I tore this off on your chair. It said not to.
Oh, thank you. Now, what can you tell us about avoiding traffic tickets and the... Ever do that again?
Oh, sorry. The sign said do not touch, and well, you know me.
I'd like to apologize, of course, to the audience for the interruption in our broadcast.
Doesn't bother me.
Now, would you please tell us something about your book, How to Never Get Another Traffic Ticket?
Nope.
But you signed a contract before agreeing to... look, never mind.
Now you're getting the idea.
We hope you enjoyed this brief yet fascinating interview with Mr. Scofflaw.
Oh, and hey, listen, if anyone needs me, I'll be back here where it says employees only.
And that you'll join us, of course, next time
Hey,
for...
you got any food or beverage on you?
Another fascinating interview.
I'm not supposed to have any back here, so, naturally I thought that...
Honey? Honey? Honey, I've been calling you.
I'm sorry, dear. I was just getting engrossed in this.
What are you watching?
It's that network on cable, ESPN.
Oh, I knew we shouldn't have purchased cable. You're going to spend the rest of the weekend watching some sports network while I'm cleaning out the closet. And you're going to be a couch potato while I'm a closet maid.
No, you don't understand. This isn't the sports network. This is the extrasensory perception network. Here, sit down. I think you may even like it.
Well, what's on?
Movie. It's called The Day It Rained All Night. I think it stars Aquanetta.
You know, I'm starting to get the feeling like I've seen this movie before.
See, it's deja vu. See what I mean? This is a terrific network. Why, an hour ago they had on the card guessing game. You know, there are 5 different cards with geometric shapes on them, squares, triangles, circles. And you try to determine which shape is on each card. I was 14 for 20. Now, that's better than average, you know.
Oh, the movie's ending. What's on now?
A news update.
But how did you know that? You didn't look at the guide.
You know, I'm not sure. I guessed.
Good evening. Tonight I'm channeling for Walter Brennan, who will bring you this news update. Next Tuesday, the stock market will gain 47.3 points, and the price of gold will hit an all-time low. The score of tomorrow's Redskins-Steelers football game is currently tied at 25-25 with 2:13 left in the third quarter. And now, the weather for Thursday, March 13th, 1995, will be partly sunny with a slight chance of rain. And next on the Extrasensory Perception Network, Seance Hour, where your host Melissa Houdini will try and contact Franklin Pierce.
Yeah, I'll have some.
What?
Weren't you about to ask me if I wanted some popcorn?
Oh, yes! Oh, that's amazing!
Spanning the globe to bring you the best in year-round sports. The thrill of victory, the agony of sore feet. Welcome to the wide world of intra-league sports.
Hello, and welcome to an exciting edition of Intra-League Sports. Today we have 2 very important games in terms of standings. Let's first go to the Boston Garden, where Al Shepard is preparing to bring you the showdown between the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia Flyers.
Thanks a lot, Dan. It's a very important game here tonight on the famed parquet ice of the Boston Garden. It's a Pitbull night here at the Garden, and you might be able to hear some of those little beasties right down there now wrestling for beers with some of the fans down there. The Celtics need this win to qualify as a wild card team, while the Flyers, losers of 8 in a row here in Boston, are seeking a little self-respect. And now let's switch to the Metrodome and Frank Peters.
Thanks, Al. We're just finishing up pregame activities here in the Metrodome, where the St. Paul High School Marching Band and the Minneapolis Opera are doing their rendition of Carmen. Let's take a listen. Truly amazing. Tonight, we have a regional matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Minnesota Twins, one of the most talked about games to ever occur in the Metrodome or the Twin Cities. It will settle the bragging rights for most of the Midwest. Now, back to you in New York, Dan.
Thanks, Frank. While we're waiting for the games to start, we have results from contests earlier today. Willie Shoemaker, riding Tammy Baker, the horse, easily outdistanced Edwin Moses in the 800 meters. We have Edwin via satellite. Edwin, your first loss in 400 races, a reaction.
Well, I'll tell you, man, that's the last time I run behind Tammy Baker.
Well, an upset. And another surprise, the much ballyhooed meeting of Mario Andretti in his Formula One car and runner Bill Shorter in the 26-mile marathon. Proved to be a cakewalk for Shorter after Andretti's powertrain failed at the 2-mile mark. He was forced to run the rest of the way in his driving gear. Meanwhile, on a sad note, diver Greg Louganis, while attempting a 2.5 gainer, was bagged by duck hunter John Pelsner of Two Lakes, Idaho. Pelsner claimed Louganis put him over his limit. I think we have some tape of that. Let's show it. Oh, the Garden. We have something going on back at the Boston Garden. Let's switch to Al in Boston.
Yes, Dan, the Flyers are moving the ball up the ice. Prop passes it to Fullion, who moves past Ainge and flips it to March. Wow! Bird steps in and steals the pass. He starts to dribble and slips on the ice. Traveling, what a call! The Celtics have been having trouble holding on to possession of the ball. Oh, wait a minute. Parrish is yelling at the official. He's been given 2 minutes in the penalty box. Back to you, Dan.
There's some action out there in the Boston Garden, and now to Minnesota for first inning action between the Vikings and Twins.
Thanks, Dan. Blyleven has been having some control problems as he pitches to Tommy Kramer. He winds up. He throws. Oh, he hits Kramer in the head with the pitch. Kramer is okay, though, thanks to the football helmet he's wearing. He trots to first base. Next up is DJ Dozier, who is leading the Vikings in yards per hit. Blyleven is in the stretch. He throws a changeup. Dozier swings at the first pitch. It's deep, deep, deep into left field. Gladden is at the warning track. He's got it! Kramer tags at first. Gladden drops back under a heavy rush by linebacker Scott Studwell. He gets rid of the ball just in time. It's going to be close at second. Kramer slides. Gagne has the ball, and Kramer has the first down at second. Wow, wait a minute. There's a foul. There's a flag. We have a roughing the left fielder call in the outfield. Gladden took a blindside shot that time. Back to you in New York.
Some action, but I'm sure we'll have better action next week when you tune in and see the New York Giants at the San Francisco Giants. The Houston Oilers will be playing the Edmonton Oilers, and what many feel is a preview of the Stanley Series, the New York Rangers at the Texas Rangers.
Tonight on your public broadcasting station will be Live from the Met with Luciano Pavarotti singing The Rocky Horror Picture Show. But now we present the documentary The History of Comedy on your public broadcasting station, which subliminally teaches your children how to spell the names of all major oil corporations.
Good evening. My name is Dean Rhodes. I'm your host. Tonight, we are going to examine the history of comedy. Man. What separates him from the rest of life forms on Earth? The ability to laugh. The universe was formed 4 billion years ago. A violent and messy event. Its creation formed stars and planets. On one small planet, the third one from a sun on the outskirts of the Milky Way, a wondrous event occurred. Life. Starting with one-celled animals reminiscent of Don Rickles that evolved into fish, then amphibians and reptiles, until mammals, and then man. Man, a curious animal, unique in its intelligence, but the most curious aspect of man, the modern Homo sapien, is his sense of humor. The ability to laugh. Tonight, thanks to an enormously large, humongous grant from an oil corporation, we will take you on a journey outlining the evolution of man's sense of humor, his comedy. Here, on the Serengeti Plain in Africa, tens of thousands of years ago, man's ancestors roamed. Some hit a dead end and became extinct. Those that survived evolved into modern man and, yes, developed a sense of humor. But just when did man start to tell jokes? More importantly, when did the first man laugh at a punchline and not clobber the joke teller over the head with a rock? This question had baffled 20th century comedic archaeologists until Dr. Harpo Leakey, while digging in this gorge 15 years ago, found what is believed to be the first historical evidence of comedy.
I remember awaking that Sunday morning in Africa. The sunrise was brilliant. I went for my morning constitutional, and while stumbling down the edge of this one particular gorge, the Burl Gorge, I fell, and right at my face was the evidence I had been seeking.
That's right. A skull dating back 500,000 years with a wooden pie pan on its face. Evidence of what could have been the first, rudimentary, pie in the face.
Of course, we don't believe it was a modern state-of-the-art pie in the face. There was no whipped cream. But perhaps it was dung from a large mammal. But still, we had finally found proof of a sense of humor.
Dr. Leakey spent the rest of his life excavating the Burrell Gorge. He found nothing more. However, 100 miles away, young Groucho Miecki, Polish archaeologist and main rival of Leakey's in the world of comedic archaeology, found more recent evidence of the developing sense of humor among man's most ancient relatives in the Hope Valley, using his controversial digging techniques.
Right here! We found them right here, I tell you! While excavating what was probably the burial site in this region, we found rubber bones! Right here, I tell you, just where you're standing! Why, after assembling the bones in a proper position, we were astounded to discover we had unearthed the first rubber chicken bones! Right here! We found them right here! They were lying next to the skeleton of a short Homo sapiens sapiens, one of our subspecies. We called him Henny. He had broken legs. We think he was the group's comedian. Also, we later found, right over there, I think it was, a fossilized foot with a sliver of burnt wood in between the toes.
In 1932, Professor Zeppo Tyler of Harvard University found what are believed to be some of the earliest written jokes while searching for the tomb of Pharaoh Sid in the Valley of the Female Impersonators.
I thought we had found the tomb despite the curse associated with entering the tomb.
Well, what curse is that, Professor?
You know, the one about developing a speech impediment. We pushed back the giant stone slab and smelled the 3,200-year-old air rush out of the resplendent chamber. The walls were decorated with images, 3 slaves poking each other in the eyes, hitting each other over the head and running around in circles, throwing pies at each other. It was then that I knew I had found the legendary Pharaoh Sid. After we situated our flashlights, I realized we had found the first recorded verbal humor on the walls written in hieroglyphics. The jokes read, "Boy, I just flew in from Cairo and my arms are tired. And take my concubine, please." We then carefully removed the top of the sarcophagus and found the mummy of Sid wearing nose glasses.
Man, after several 100,000 years of evolution, had discovered verbal humor. Puns, plays on words, spoonerisms. Man was never to be the same. Meanwhile, other discoveries reinforced the divergence of humor throughout various civilizations. The discovery of the Dead Sea foam rubber snakes confirmed humor reaching the Phoenicians. In eastern Turkey, on the shores of the Dardanelles, the first comedy club was unearthed, the Helen of Troy Improv. Humor spread quickly. Hannibal, a wild and crazy Carthaginian general, elevated the practical joke to new heights when he snuck up behind the Romans by crossing the Alps on elephants during the Punic Wars. Once behind the unsuspecting Romans, Hannibal and his troops yelled, "Boo!" After the pratfall of the Roman Empire, the Dark Ages enveloped most of civilization, save for the Crusades, which brought back the fabled Shroud of Abe Vigoda. Although censored by the Vatican, that ruled all comedy derives from God, the comedic Reformation began when Steve Martin Luther posted his 95 mother-in-law jokes in 1517. The renaissance of comedy in Western civilizations occurred in the year 1700 when Newton developed his comedic mechanics that unified cosmic and earthly comedy. His discovery of the knock-knock joke while laying beneath an apple tree revolutionized comedy. Knock-knock jokes flourished under the Industrial Revolution in England, and several French comics lost their heads during the French Revolution by doing poor Robespierre impersonations. In America, General George Custer, although he would not live to see the royalties on the joke, designed the first arrow through the head prop the night before the Battle of the Little Bighorn. In the 20th century, Einstein's theory of comedic relativity modernized comedy into the space age. Here is a rare recording of the scientist explaining his theory.
If you have a comedian in a stationary position and the audience is moving at the speed of light, it will take longer for the joke to get there. Conversely, if the audience is stationary and the comedian is moving at the speed of light, through analytical calculus, we can deduce that it will take longer for the laugh to reach the comedian, thus destroying his timing. It is also theorized that if we could launch a joke into space traveling close to the speed of light, and it would take, let's say, 20 years for the trip, yet when the spaceship containing the joke returns, actually 100 years on Earth will have passed. If true, it would be a great boon to those comedians who are ahead of their time.
Is man the only life form in the universe to have a sense of humor? We now take you to noted comedic astronomer Carl Sagan.
Good evening. Billions and billions of stars fill our evening skies, but it seems only Earth has a sense of humor. Here, at the Laurel and Hardy Observatory, for the past 20 years, scientists and astronomers have been listening for a joke from outer space, and also sending out jokes into the cosmic comedic void. They haven't heard a single witticism or giggle. Is man the only jokester in the universe? Is he the only one who could name his galaxy after a candy bar and a planet in his solar system after a cartoon dog? Who knows? Probably. If there are higher forms of intelligence out there, they're laughing behind our backs, telling jokes above our heads in the cold, black expanse of space.
There you have it. Man has survived wars, pestilence, famines, and the 1976 television season. Through it all, he has retained his resilient sense of humor. Who can say what it was that produced the first comedian? Perhaps a genetic mutation, or maybe one of our earliest ancestors slipping on a banana peel. However, we should be thankful. Good night.
Thank you for listening to Room 113, an ARC production in association with KJZZ. Donald Trump Digs Arizona was underwritten by the Phoenix Gazette and written and performed by Mark Allen, Joe Corcoran, Dean Rhodes, D. Scott Dixon, Ben Tyler, Susan Marie Arnold, Linda Juergens, and Kathy Dresbach. Tune in next week for Inherit the Airwaves, Blue Skies and Green Lights.